The year 536 did not begin with war. It began with light fading. Across Europe, the Middle East, and parts of Asia, something strange appeared in the sky. A thick, dry fog. Not clouds, not smoke from a city, a haze that blocked the sun. Writers at the time described it carefully, not dramatically. One recorded that the sun gave forth its light without brightness. Another wrote that it resembled the moon, pale and weak even at midday. Shadows disappeared. Summer never fully arrived. Temperatures dropped across the northern hemisphere. Crops failed in Ireland. Snow fell in China during summer months. Harvests collapsed in Scandinavia. Famine followed quietly. No one understood what was happening. There were no earthquakes large enough to explain it, no visible mountain eruption recorded clearly, just a sky that stopped behaving normally, and it lasted, not for days, not for weeks, for more than a year. Modern scientists would later analyze ice cores drilled from Greenland and Antarctica. Those cores hold thin layers of volcanic ash, microscopic evidence trapped in frozen time. They point to a massive volcanic eruption somewhere in the northern hemisphere, possibly Iceland, possibly multiple eruptions. But in 536, no one knew. They only knew that food was disappearing. When food disappears, stability follows. Famine weakens bodies first, then it weakens governments. Across the Byzantine Empire, grain shortages destabilized cities. Trade routes struggled. Populations shrank. The weakened state would soon face another disaster, the plague of Justinian, which erupted only a few years later. Some historians argue that 536 did not just cause famine, it shifted history. Northern Europe saw abandonment of settlements. Archaeological layers show sudden decline. In parts of Scandinavia, entire communities vanished. Gold hoards were buried, possibly offerings to desperate gods. China recorded mass starvation and political unrest. The Americas may have been affected as well, though records are less clear. It was not one civilization collapsing. It was many weakening at once. And yet, no dramatic narrative survived. There was no single villain, no invasion to blame, no empire to accuse. The enemy was atmospheric, a thin veil of particles high above the earth, scattering sunlight, cooling temperatures, shortening growing seasons, invisible. Modern climate models suggest global temperatures may have dropped by as much as 2 degrees Celsius. 2 degrees sounds small. It is not. 2 degrees is the difference between reliable harvest and failure across entire continents. What makes 536 unsettling is not just the cold. It is how little control humanity had and how quickly systems failed when nature shifted slightly. This was not a meteor strike, not an extinction event, just reduced sunlight, and it was enough. Even more disturbing, 536 may have been followed by additional eruptions in 540 and 547, extending the crisis for more than a decade of instability. Children born into famine, leaders making decisions with incomplete information, entire regions adapting to a darker world. Tree rings from this period show slowed growth across multiple continents. Growth patterns in ancient wood align perfectly with written accounts of dim skies. Science confirms what scattered writers once described. The sky dimmed. History rarely labels 536 as a turning point, but many researchers consider it one of the worst years to be alive. Not because of one catastrophe, but because it triggered a chain reaction. Food scarcity, migration, weakened states, disease, conflict, a slow-motion collapse beginning with light fading. And perhaps the most unsettling part, if it happened once, it can happen again. Volcanic winters are rare, but not impossible. Modern civilization is even more interconnected than ancient ones were. Supply chains depend on predictable climate. Agriculture depends on stable seasons. Energy grids depend on continuity. 536 was not dramatic, it was systemic. There were no screaming crowds recorded in history books, no iconic ruins tied directly to it, just evidence buried in ice and word. A reminder that sometimes the greatest disasters are not explosive, they are subtle. A dimmer sun, a colder season, a harvest that doesn't grow back. The year the sky changed color did not destroy humanity, but it tested it. And for many communities across the world, it was the beginning of an end no one saw coming.